Hey guys, it's Ryan here from Eliminator. Today we're going to be shimming some diffs and showing you guys the proper way of doing it. So if you look here, this is from a G-Made sawback kit that we're building, and a typical diff gear is beveled so that it makes contact like that. But sometimes what happens is you'll get a little bit of play in between them and your pinion will be able to move in and out, or your diff will be able to move side to side. So we're going to show you how to take that up and the best way to do that. On the G-Made kit here, it basically the pinion just drops right in, pretty much like any crawler into the axle. And then your diff pops in, but there's bearing holders on the side. So when you pop it all in and you get your axle set up, so now that we have it all set up, it's just like the kit says, and it should be perfect to put in, right? Well, not really. You have your side-to-side play. And if you look, that's quite a bit for these white metal gears, because once they start to sharpen, they just start to strip. And you got quite a bit of pinion play there. So depending on your situation, a lot of guys will just shim your pinion and they'll jam it in there, which will force this gear sideways and allow it not to move. You could do that, but then you're shortening your drive shaft distance that you have to bolt on there, which sometimes can be a pain in the butt. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the side-to-side play and see how it affects our pinion play. And what you're going to do is you're going to shim it so that it pushes down, because then it pushes your pinion down as well. What's going to happen here is when you shim the ring gear down into the pinion, it's going to push tighter on it so that you don't get your rocking back and forth. And if you look at these gears here, they're kind of rounded, and what happens is when they're loose, they'll start to sharpen to a pinpoint, and then it eventually just makes them round off completely, and your diff will start clicking or skipping, and then you'll have no front or rear wheel drive. So we're going to pop this all back apart, and I'm going to show you where to shim it. Okay, so now usually what you would do is just put the shims on the outside where the bearing holder is, and you would put it in and it would be set, ready to go. But because this diff has these inserts for the bearings, it's going to be a little bit tougher, and a lot of guys, what they'll try to do is slide shims in between there and then get the axle, and that's going to be a lot of fighting, and I want to avoid all that. So the simplest way is going to be to pull out the bearing retainer. I've already went ahead and measured it up, and it ends up being 10 millimeter. So we're going to put a 10 millimeter shim on it, and we'll try two just to see what happens. And then what we're going to do is press it back into place. So what's happening here is I'm actually pushing the bearing holder down so that the space in between here is smaller, and that's going to cause our gear to be pushed down into our pinion. So let's go ahead and reassemble it and see how it feels. Alright, so now we got it all reassembled. You can see our side plate is completely eliminated, and our pinion play is almost not there, which is perfect. That's what you want to see. The next test is to roll it. If it rolls nice and smooth, you may need one more depending on how the gears are. Now these gears have just a touch of a light spot on one section of the gear, which is normal for these gears because they're not always 100%. So we're going to let them break in. What you can do is assemble the whole diff and run it on a cordless drill at a low RPM for a while. Take it back apart, check everything, make sure it's all shimmed, make sure there's no filings or anything, and then you can clean it out and re-grease it. I'm just going to go ahead and grease this one, because once the grease is in there, it's going to take up a little bit of room too. You always got to calculate for the grease, because the grease is going to put a little bit less of a gap between the teeth here. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply my grease. I usually like to use the HPI or associated grease. The HPI is a heavy duty diff grease, and there's also associated black grease, and I believe the G-Made kit actually comes with grease, but we're going to use this stuff here. And the trick is, just put a little bit in there. You don't want to pack it full, because that'll actually cause some problems too. So we're just coating the gears, and then you're going to spin it around a couple times and just check it all out. So if you look, we got a nice light coating, and we got a little bit of a light spot there, so we're just going to put another dab right there. And there we go. And actually this diff got a little bit smoother now that we put the grease in it, so you can tell it's pretty good. We got no pinion play. We got no side-to-side play. So that diff's going to be nice and strong, and it's going to last for a long time and take quite a bit of power. It'll apply to pretty much any diff in the RC world and any gear. So if you ever have a wear pattern that's off, it's going to cause problems. So always make sure that you have nice tight contact, it's not hard to spin, and it's going to be nice and free-flowing. Hopefully this helps you guys with shimming your diffs. I'm Ryan from Eliminator-RC. Stay tuned for more videos.